Hello, welcome to Virtual Studio Party for Monday, October 25th. Is that right? Yes,
Yep.
25th, 2021. I'm Kimberly Coe. I've been hosting these virtual studio parties since I think it was March 20th, March 20 something anyway of 2020 after the first lockdown. And I have with me my incredibly versatile co-host.
Yeah, you're the incredibly versatile host. You just have a sort of a nebbish, half decent co-host, Kal Honey.
I have a charming
Welcome
co-host.
aboard, everyone.
So it's a very gray, threatening weather sort of day here where I am, and the humidity is such that my hair is completely going off in all directions. So
kind of like your creativity. It sparks off in all kinds of different interesting directions, right?
Maybe I should reconsider. I don't know. But I need Kal to manage the chat. So
Yeah,
if you are with us and you have a Google account, it's easy to set up a YouTube account from Google in order to be able to participate in the chat. Hi, Sherry. So nice you could join us. Yeah. So last night when I was finally putting out promos for this event today, hopefully some people saw them. I couldn't make up my mind what I was going to do. I knew it sort of depended on how I was feeling today. So I have decided, because I have over to one side of me a collection of plant material that I've collected and that's left over from earlier collections and printmaking sessions, that some of which I haven't even used yet. I thought I should use it today. So I will be gel plate printing and maybe combining plant materials, botanical printing with stencils and drawing and other things. So just to have some fun, right? When it's so gray and gloomy, I think extra doses of fun are what's needed. So, I see Cherie is also here.
Sherry and Cherie.
Excellent, excellent.
Sherry says she needs company, so
that's
said,
nice.
We've got her covered.
Yeah,
we'll do our best to be cheerful company on a rainy day.
And thanks for keeping us company.
Yeah, exactly. And I've asked her if she's going to be playing with some fluorescents today. I'm hoping. Coming off our eye-opening workshop.
That's right.
And Cherie, so nice to see you.
Fantastic that you can be here, Cherie.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put some more tensors on my arm.
You look like you're...
there. I'm ready for battle, right?
Yeah, you got the black arm gang or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a Cherie, and Sherry's a Sherry, even though you might think she's a Cherie.
Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff we have to navigate and remember as teachers, right?
Yes, imperfectly, because poor Sherry, I was calling her Cherie in class.
Oh dear. Oh, I see Lori Graham's here. Yep. Hi, Lori.
Hey, Lori, welcome aboard.
So glad you could make it. So in light of my hair being what it is, I thought I would wear some earrings today to, you see they've got a nice design on them. They are very tarnished silver earrings.
They're actually really
But I think it's quite a nice contrast with my skin. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So there you go.
The tarnish is even, which is actually kind of important, right? So yeah, it looks great, actually.
Some people call it tarnish. Others call it patina.
Yes.
So before I dig into the gel plate printing, I wanted you to be the first to know here on the virtual studio party, because you are an exclusive community that I want to announce that After 2 years of being away from Haliburton School of Art and Design, where Kal and I have taught regularly over quite a lot of years now. And before that, we took courses there. Well, we still do sometimes. Anyway, get on with it, Kim. We're planning a return next summer. So summer of 2022, you know, fingers
Yeah.
crossed, assuming all goes well with the pandemic and so on. But I will be teaching a gel plate monoprinting week-long intensive course, which will review the basics, and then we'll move into a variety of approaches and have, I hope, I expect time to explore and each one, but also combine. And there will be a kind of ongoing project of an artist book, which students will add to over the course of the week. And at the end, you'll have this kind of record of what you've done and learned and accomplished and so on. So, and of course, very advanced artists can push that further and can push every single technique further. And you know, it's intended to work at multiple skill levels. So my preference is for not completely beginner artists, but occasionally a beginner artist has exactly the right spirit and
Is absolutely fine, right?
Is totally fine. Can be absolutely beginners at gel plate printing and printmaking.
Yeah. A little art experience will be
but a little art experience is, you know, it helps, right?
I love printing with gel plates. It's just so you just get started, and then the next thing you know, you've got like 15 cool things going on
the go, and you're
adding
thinking
different
about layers
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's so much fun. Exactly.
It's very stimulating.
So yeah, so I think it's going to be a fabulous week. For many years, I've taught acrylics courses that were very materials and process based, and they were fabulous, but they were just mountains of work, that insane amounts of work to prepare, deliver, and clean up from, that really I would have needed to be paid 3 or 4 times as much as I was to teach them, but I'm insane, so I did it anyway, just because I loved so much what the kind of classes I ended up having, this, what happened with the students, you know, and it's a subject I love. But anyway, gel plate printing is more compact. And that's going to be good.
It's more transportable for the instructor, but also for the students,
yeah,
right?
For everybody, I think.
I mean,
well, I used it. That's one of the things. Like last time I taught the acrylics Explore, Express, and Experiment course, Kal had to drive up in our van with all of the mediums and then come back, get all the rest of our stuff and me, and go back. That doesn't make any sense at all. This was in our van. So we don't have our van anymore. So everything has to shrink down a bit. That said, you know, you can bring a reasonably large plate too as one of your plates if you sign up.
Yeah.
I'm going to I do have a link somewhere on my website for a recipe for DIY gel plates, and I will be testing it out before that course begins. So
are you going to try to make the world's world's biggest gel plate as a communal project? Everyone comes over to the table and
oh my god, can you imagine?
And makes like a 7-foot by 12-foot gel plate.
No, not this year.
Good.
Let's see how this year goes.
Yeah. Excellent. I have to tell you that Rebecca has joined us.
Yay! Hi, Rebecca.
Fraser has joined us.
Fraser, how nice to see you.
Valerie has joined us.
Hi, Val.
And Maggie Zhang.
Maggie, so nice to see you. Oh, that's so lovely. Wow. I'm glad you could make it. Take a little time out for yourself. That's great. So well, it's nice to say hi to everybody, and I think now I'll move the camera to the overhead position so that I can get and push my laptop out of the way so I can get working on the table here and begin. So if you get seasick easily, just cover your eyes for 30 seconds. I'll try and do it slowly so it's not too harsh.
Rebecca says, and why am I not surprised? She's queen of DIY. She says she's made gel plates before to do printing with kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that is the origins of gelatin plate printing are non-commercial plates, right? Thank you, dear. That's just what I needed. Okay, I've got my worktop.
Actually, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it looks great. Can see my hands and everything. Okay, get my plate out. Get a piece of paper out. So I use commercial plates, and because of the convenience, I always seem to be juggling so many things that even though long ago I wanted to try making my own gel plates, I just never got around to it. It's just that's
just the way it rolled.
Yeah. But you know, one of the reasons I teach courses, and I'm going to get this to focus, show you my wrinkly knuckles. There we go. It's so annoying when it doesn't focus. There, that looks better, doesn't it? All right. One of the reasons I teach courses is because it provides impetus for me to do things that I want to do. But that if I didn't need to do it in time for a course,
yeah,
I wouldn't do it. That includes like ideas for making prints, or, you know, ideas for tools, or ideas or mediums I've never tried, or lines of paint I've never tried, or literally anything. Paper. There. That's where I need to be. That's good. Let me just pull this out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yes, so I mentioned that I have quite a bit of plant material. Here is, well, I have to detangle it here. Here's one container I have. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. I like seeing it on the screen, actually. These are particularly magnificent. I don't know what kind of weed this is. If someone knows, please let us know in the chat there. But the veins, those of you who know me a little bit know that I'm obsessed with veins, and it relates to my work, my artwork on hearts. My hearts are not generally the pink fluffy kind. My hearts are visceral and bloody and anatomical, or riffing off of the anatomical heart. So you know what? I'm a big believer in starting with what gives you pleasure, as a kind of reward for starting. So I'm going to start off with just a print of this, just a documentary print of this. It's a great way to get warmed up.
So Sherry Daly says might be colt's foot.
Oh, it seems to grow in abundance along a pathway to our nearby park trail. And and it's wonderful because it's so fractal. the plant grows with many different sizes of the same kind of leaf, and it just...
It's great, isn't it?
It's so beautiful, yeah.
Lori says, I think of classes, so many ideas, hard to keep up with the administrative requirements to set up, clean up. Yeah, it's true.
You are so right. Oh, yeah. Writing descriptions of material, for me, the paperwork is a nightmare. And the fact that I love coming up with more and more and more creative options of what we could use. And that's how I get into the messes I do with, having too many materials to manage. Oh, thank you. Cal's going to do some cable management for me, because it would be ideal if I didn't drag all of my cords into the paint. So I'm going to start off with using some golden open acrylics, just because it's nice and easy. I think it's upside down. There, is that right side up?
That's upside down.
Oh, okay. It looks upside down to me, but it's right side up for you. Is that what I'm to understand?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Because it's got the
you finished with upside down, so
the golden open medium built right into the paint. What's up? Oh, have I got the camera facing the wrong way? Sorry, everybody. Cal's fixing the camera, which will be unpleasant for you. It's a little crooked. Don't know why. I can tilt this way. There. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, now we're sorry, I didn't pick up on that earlier.
So this is a slower drying paint, acrylic paint.
Philippa has joined us. Hello,
hey, Philippa! Yay!
Says, hi, Kim and Cal. I found you. I always seem to have trouble.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's the case. This is the first time since very early days where I actually pre-set up the live stream last night. So if you went to the playlist, which is sort of the second row of thumbnails on my channel page, you would see it as first thumbnail and it would say live on it. And it said it even before I'd started the live stream. It just would count you down. It would say, 3 hours remaining or whatever. So I'm going to start off with the face of this leaf. Try and place it delicately. Leaves, a lot of leaves are not naturally flat. You sort of think of them as flat, but they're not really flat. So you sort of have to persuade them to be more or less flat. So I'm going to do that. And then because I have the luxury of doing so, I have this pencil. Yeah, it's not going to focus. Okay. I have this pencil with an eraser there we go, with an eraser that's been cut into a cross. And just, I don't know, it feels slightly random, but I'm just going to stamp the paint with it.
Philippa said that's what she did, so that's good. So the magic worked.
Excellent.
When we first started out streaming, I think we tried to do that, but at the time YouTube wouldn't let you set things up in advance. So we just had to okay, we're going to stream in 2 minutes. Let's get it set up and then go live. But now it does. So
yeah, they have improved the live stream interface from the creator's point of view. So thank goodness for that. Because if you subscribe, you'll be informed of a
That you
preset
have a stream
live
coming up.
Yeah. And you can set, even if you don't subscribe, you can set a reminder. I think you might, not positive if you need to subscribe or not, to set a reminder if there's one that's been set up in advance.
In future, I think I will start setting up mine up a few days in advance so that people can find it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And set a reminder
Yeah.
for themselves if they want.
Exactly.
This is the luxury of paint that isn't going to dry right away.
Right. Oh, it looks great. It looks like a sophisticated suit fabric or something, or clothing.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, with the sort of subtle repeating pattern, with the like small but spaced out nicely.
Well, thank you. I like that idea. All right. Now, would help if I had some paper, wouldn't it?
So while Kim works away on her first gel plate print, why don't you guys tell us what you guys are cooking up?
Yeah.
What are you working on today, or are you
If
just hanging
anything.
out? Yeah.
You're always welcome to just hang out. We're always curious to know if you did bring something to work on, what that might be.
Probably eventually there will be some kind of a live stream in which we'll be able to see what you're up to too.
Yeah. We might actually do a special edition on Zoom.
Oh, that's a cool
in
idea.
order to allow for some visual sharing, just to mix things up a little bit, and
have like a virtual meetup where
yeah,
we can actually see
exactly.
what everyone's doing. That's
Exactly. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Maybe. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. We'll keep you posted if you're. The other thing Kal and I are talking about is, how his Virtual Collage Jam has a Facebook group so that people can share what they've done related to the jam or not. And so we're talking about doing something like that for a virtual studio party, and maybe combining the two, since it is now, for our purposes, it's now a combined.
Well, I help you with yours, you help me with mine.
Exactly.
So
and there's a big overlap in the audience. Oh, well, this is going to look fun. Oh, look at that, everybody. Doesn't that look like fun?
Ooh.
Oh, baby.
Well, that's a pretty audacious start.
Nice.
I love it. It's giving you like an outline of the pluses.
Yeah, it's funny, eh?
Fun. Yeah.
Unexpected.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful.
So I'll just set that aside to dry. Which pile shall I put it on top of, Kal?
I suggest the stablest one you can find.
Yeah, that's the trick. Okay. I have to very delicately lift this leaf. There, isn't that lovely? How it brings out the veins. And now I've got this fantastic.
Oh, wow, yeah. Look at that.
Positive print. So that the print I just took was the negative, which is to say it's, the negative spaces. So now I'm going to do the positive print, and I can hardly wait.
So in terms of what people are up to, Val says she's working on a collage. Cal surprise. Rebecca says she's working on homework for that darn Cal. Actually, I put in the
sorry
darn.
about the focus, everybody.
I put in the darn, but yes. And Fraser said he's slowly coming up with ideas for work that will be on display in Brockville in July 2022. Great that you're getting on it now, Fraser. That's good. Giving yourself lots of time to develop it organically and let it grow the way it needs to.
I need this focus to come back. I don't know why it's being particularly balky today.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's not normally this balky, but I guess it's feeling under the weather today.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe humidity is affecting it. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows?
Sherry says she's doing some framing, then working on homework for another class.
Cool.
Black and white stamping and collage.
What's the other?
Black and white stamping and collage.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Philippa says she's just hanging out as the image she's working on is on the computer.
Ah, yes. There.
Wow.
Is incredible.
Yeah, and how much you get from it with those gel plates.
Beautiful edges too, right?
That's stunning.
Something I love about this, we'll definitely cover some botanical printmaking in the Haliburton course. Something I love about it is I moved down too quickly. There we go. I'll move down slowly, slowly, so the autofocus can keep up. Okay. One of the things I love about botanical printing is that it's one of those things you can get success on pretty quickly.
Right.
You know what, and getting successful with it shows that you've kind of grappled successfully with paint application, slowing down the paint drying, burnishing well, all of that, and then you get these phenomenal things to work with. Like, and you imagine, you could add all kinds of things to this, but you could also cut it out and collage it. I'm looking at this thinking I'm going to scan this in and enlarge it and play with it that way, because of course veins are my thing. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Maggie says finding design inspirations for products.
Well, that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. And she also said it's beautiful, which it really is. Cherie says, in the words of Marg, frame it. Philippa says she loves the small crosses.
Oh, thanks, Philippa.
Fraser says he loves those slightly rough edges of the gel plate. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Just not quite perfect, which I love. He says it reminds him of 19th century wet plate photography.
Yes. And it also reminds me of stone lithography.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking for something to pull up the ghost, which is the residue here.
And when you say pull up, what do you mean?
I think maybe I'll do a pickup print, although I might be able to get an impression just as is. Why don't I even try that? Because this is the open paint, I'm going to use a ground I've already made and just try.
See if that's wet enough to pick up.
See if it's wet enough to pick up, yeah.
And if not, you can do a proper
pickup
print, which you can show them how.
So it's interesting, Maggie, what you said about getting inspiration for products. There is I forget her name now, but an honorary niece of mine sent me information on a designer of carpeting and possibly wallpaper who developed a whole line of carpets for sure, based on her experiments with printing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's the kind of thing that I've often said to Kal over the last, 20 years that we should do creativity workshops for designers. Having been designers ourselves, we sort of understand some of the challenges of just of being a designer, not there are things that are in common with all the disciplines of design in terms of how they tax and challenge your creativity and sometimes drain you. And I should ask, has anybody here heard our podcast episode that we've been publicizing that's on the podcast Art Conversations with Lisa Jane Irvine. I just thought of that because we talk about our meeting as designers and being designers earlier on. So I there wasn't much residue pickup from the plate, so I thought I would just do a print directly from the leaf with what was left, the paint that was left on it.
Oh, look at that. That's
and,
great.
you know, I definitely got a print from
Quite
that.
a bit, yeah.
So, yeah. So that's not done, but it's got some interesting stuff now.
Sherry Daly says yes, so I think that might be in response to.
Oh, good.
She's
You
heard
you
the
listened?
podcast, which is good.
Excellent. Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed it. Yes, I heard it, and it was awful. I hope you never do that again.
I lived through it.
I hope not. Anyway, Cherie would never. Was it Cherie or Sherry?
Sherry.
Sherry would never be that mean, to put it quite like that. Anyway, it's called Art Conversations with Lisa Jane Irvine, and it is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So,
and some other
podcast platforms, right? But
yeah.
Those are the two giants.
I don't think she has all of them, but I think she has most of them.
I wonder if it's on Google Play.
I think so.
Okay, so yeah. if you're a Google Play person, you can certainly look for it there. So, and there's also an earlier episode that was Kal alone. So, and there is a future episode not recorded yet. I think we're recording it this week. That will be me alone. So, oh, that felt good getting that leaf print done. So now I'm going to think about.
It was a relief.
It was a relief to get that leaf print done?
It was.
I'm going to use that stencil I used in the thumbnail. Somehow. Just have to think about this for a minute. Well, now I wish I had the cutout piece for this too. So maybe I'll get my stencils binder and find something I can use.
So Sherry says it was great. She said, I tried to send comments, but it kept saying the nicknames I picked were already taken.
Oh, really? Oh, what a drag.
And Val says, I was listening to the podcast right before this. Aw,
thank you, Val. That's so nice. It was quite a treat to be part of that, wasn't it, Kal?
It was. Lisa's a good friend of ours. She's a Mississauga artist and high school art teacher. And in the pre-COVID times, we had a little group of people that would get together, artists that would get together. We'd get together every month or two to discuss opportunities and trials and tribulations and just have an artist social time. And she is one of that group. And man, she's got energy. Like and organizational skills.
That we can only dream of.
So, like that she can launch a podcast and keep it going while teaching high school art is completely beyond me. But she's done a great job. She's had some really interesting artists, local artists, and some artists of larger stature too, which is great. You know, they're great. I could listen to other artists talk about work and their careers all day, every day, I think.
Yeah, their influences, their practices, their doubts, their dreams, all of it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I mean, we're human, right? We love stories. We're creatures of story. So I'm dissatisfied with everything I look at. I would have been quite happy with the stencil that I pulled out if I had the cutout shape for it. So I'm just going to make myself a new one. It's not that hard.
It's a relatively simple shape, right?
Exactly. So should work out all right.
Yeah. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. I've made some prints. I quite like using that stencil, and it's a shape I love. So
Maggie is wondering if ombre or watercolor effect work on gel plate.
Ah, there's so many things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, well, now you see.
You've got her going.
You planted an idea in my head now. I can't even read. Oh, there we are. Okay. Yeah, I want to put just a little bit more crimson. I'm using alizarin crimson here. Liquitex Basics is what I use the most, although lots of different acrylic paints are usable on gel plates. It's a medium viscosity, so it's neither fluid nor stiff, and I just find that's a sweet spot for me. It comes in big tubes like this, but you can also get these wonderful sets of many, many colors in these small metal tubes. So, yeah, I tend to buy the big tubes because I go through such quantities of it. We both do, actually. But I'm a little jealous of people who go out and buy like the 72 color set, and they have colors I have to mix to get, which is fine. You know, mixing color is fine. I'm just going to add a little bit of this open medium to one of the little mounds of right. I probably should have given my brayer a wipe, so some of the black is coming through. Just add some more paint to this. So it's just going to make the color more complex, right?
Well, that's actually, like, lots of artists intentionally don't clean their brushes perfectly because it gives the...
As they're painting,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly, of course. For that reason, right?
So
because it gives it a little complexity.
There's a bit of an ombre. Now, what I want to do...
That's a mean-looking ombre.
I'm going to put this here. And just in case you're wondering, no, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just improvising. So, you know.
Jazz musician Kim.
Just enjoy the imperfection.
Where this may go, or...
Yeah. I got some wild rhubarb, which is always a fun thing. And I thought it would be interesting. I know, maybe I'll slide it under this stem. How about that? That looks like a good idea.
The old stem slide.
Yeah. Okay. I think I need a stiffer piece of paper for what I'm trying to do here. I'm just going to get something a little stiffer. Use some. I'm quite keen on the Strathmore Vision line of papers in pads. They're quite in the affordable category, but good quality. Paper can be so expensive. Oh, I see my leaf has already popped up here. Okay, well it's going to be an imperfect thing because
it's a handmade thing.
Handmade, experimenting, thinking as while doing. Okay, so this is the first thing I'm going to do. Everything in place. I'm going to burnish this. It's good to have a little bit of a heavier weight paper to for the next stage of this print, because I'm going to lift the leaves. I think I'm going to.
We'll see,
assuming everything cooperates. Okay, so I'll start off with that leaf that was trying to leave already. And now hold that down, stabilize it. Okay. Fingers crossed, everybody. It's so good to have more people on my side.
Yeah.
Cal, I'm running out of power.
Uh-oh.
Can you plug me into power?
I can. Oh, right, because you rearranged the ports. That's right. Forgot about that. There you go.
Okay, let's see what happens. I got a little chatter from the leaf moving. You can see that particularly here, double veins
it's great,
happening.
It feels like it's got emotion, that's all.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
I mean, there is a dimensional feeling to this. You can feel the fact that it's creased and things are further behind. It almost looks ruffly over here. Look at those beautiful veins there. Wow. I love that stuff. And this enigmatic shape in the middle. So that's quite interesting to me. And we've got a bit of an ombre going on there, Maggie. And of course, you can do more extended ones as well and multiple ones. Yeah. So now I've got some stuff left here. I'm going to peel this off. I love what happens to the things I use to mask because they absorb the paint. So next time I'll use it on this side to even it out. Okay. Now that I have this, I am kind of thinking I'm thinking out loud, talking to myself as usual.
We expect no less.
I'm just enjoying black right now. There's absolutely no reason you couldn't use any color in the world you'd like to use, but right now I'm really feeling the black. You notice I did not clean off the residue that was on the plate, so that's going to add to whatever I do now. And oh, I had an idea. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm going to put this back in here. Put this side down, so it's not going to match up with the outline that's already on the plate. And I'm looking for my favorite weirdo. It's a wonderful weed. Again, I have no idea what it is, but I love the way it grows, and it has these little flowers, I guess, but they're not showy flowers, but they are fantastic.
So Maggie said of the earlier print,
yeah,
nice, very inspiring. And she says she wants to get a kit and try with the kids.
Oh, it honestly, Maggie, it's fantastic for kids, because you engage with it whatever level you're at. It is inherently fun. The plates are fun because they're squishy. And you know what isn't fun about squishy? And it's a relatively quick process, as you can see. Now, I'm going to layer up things, so you can layer up as much as you want. Or you can do quick prints where you do a bunch of things on the plate and then just print it, and then you're done. So, okay, I've got my stuff laid in place. I'm going to, again, I'm using some sturdy mixed media paper. As I press down, the plant material is moving. And, that's what it's going to do, because it's 3 dimensions and I'm trying to turn it into 2 dimensions. And hopefully you'll see why this is my favorite weed ever. Weed. I should call it a wildflower, because honestly, just because it's native and can survive things that our garden plants can't, it deserves some dignity. So I'm trying to make sure I get into all the negative spaces and along the edges of things. So I'm feeling my way around, and I don't know if you can hear the slight crumpling sound. The more patience with this creates a better result. So that's why I'm spending a little time with it. And then just making sure I get it all in the to the edges as well, using the heel of my hand as well as my flattened fingers. Okay, fingers crossed. The magic reveal is something that I always love. Oh, got a focus issue again. Can we please? I've got an idea. Okay, let's focus. You focus on that? Yeah, focus on that. Sorry, I'm just going to do the focus before I do the reveal, because you won't see anything if I...
It's funny. Sometimes there's no problem all session. And then sometimes
there. It's finally in focus. And it is beautiful, but stay in focus, will you? There, I feel like the paper just sort of snapped into... Okay, yeah. Wow, we haven't had to do that so many times before. So one of the things I love about working with botanicals is you get shapes you would never get just dreaming them up. I would never come up with this shape. this complex organic shape. And look at the beautiful negatives in the corners there with these small negatives. I mean, that's just what a gift. And now I've got all this stuff. Actually, I want to photograph this just the way it is. Don't you think this looks beautiful?
It's great, yeah.
As an object, but
Yeah,
I know that there's magic in there that
well,
I am going to
why
take
don't you
advantage
reveal
of.
it for us?
Okay. Now, one of the downsides of printing with organic material is you get a lot of crud on your plate, all the loose stuff. So it's very important to have some kind of retarder like golden open medium or something in your paint so that you can blow without drying the paint.
Right, yeah.
There we go. Okay. Why don't I stick with the nice paper? Actually, I should find that Indian paper. That's quite nice paper. Okay, it's out of focus. Let's get in focus, camera. Okay, you think you can manage that? There, that finally looks crisp. Actually, I'll turn it sideways so that it fills the screen better. Oops, there we go. Maybe I'll flip it so it looks right to me. I hope that means it looks right to you. So again, we've got an almost photographic,
wow, it's just so
cyanotype style, but in black.
And with this like
impression,
crisp shape cut out of it, it's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's very Wanda Coupe, except that I haven't used a fluorescent for the shape. But all that could change, Sherry. Sherry's in your fluorescents, right?
Yep.
And is Rebecca? No. Okay.
Cherie says, I find Mondays are always hard to focus.
Right, you are. Right, you are. Okay. Now I'm gonna lift this shape.
Thank you, Cherie.
That's what we needed.
The kind of levity this focus challenge day needs.
All right, I'm just going to pause a moment, have a little drink. I'm quite excited. I wish I had some ferns or some sumac, but okay. Maggie, you should come up to Haliburton. Take the course. They have kids courses too. They could take art courses. You get a little holiday. And then you'll learn all kinds of techniques in the gel plate print and spend all fall and winter doing them with your kids.
That sounds pretty
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yeah.
Dangerously like fun, right? Okay, I'm going to use some red oxide paint now. And this time I'm going to wipe my brayer. Look how black it is with with paint. So because it's slow drying, it was coming up even after a lengthy layoff when I applied another color. Whereas if it had been,
if you hadn't put the open medium in it or open paint,
if it weren't an open paint, it would take longer. So yeah, red oxide is pretty far away from a fluorescent color, but that's what I'm going with. And I'm going to try, I should have tweezers to remove some of these things, but I don't. So I'm just going to remove the worst of the granular items. There's still quite a lot of image information in the black there. It looks paler on the plate than it would on a print. And I'm hoping the paint is dry enough to withstand my... Try and hasten it a bit. Where's my...
Sherry says, I made sumac tea.
Oh!
She says, never met so many Cheries before. The fourth artist I know with the spelling of my name.
Oh, really? You make it, do you make the sumac tea from the flowers? If so, I'm wondering if it would be full of vitamin C like rosehip tea. Somehow, you know, the red flowers.
And the flavor that is used in Middle Eastern.
Sumac?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Of the flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't tried it, but I'd like to.
Yeah.
I bet you Rebecca has, because she's an adventurous
forager
and cook. So
yeah.
So tell us, Rebecca, have you foraged and used some sumac in your cooking? Cherie says, I've never thought of buying paper in a pad. Great idea. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, it's very handy. And the Strathmore Vision line creates quite nice surfaces in good weights of paper, watercolor paper, mixed media paper. They have drawing paper. What am I doing? One moment, please. It's always good if I know what I'm doing. And it's not as easy as that sounds. Okay, I'm going to use these again. Oh, I think that could be fun. All right.
Sherry says, I thought that was a different sumac, but I think it is this. Generally, you have to know, because there is a poison sumac, but I think staghorn sumac, which is the one we have a lot of in Ontario,
I think the native Canadians used to
is basically the same species that is used in Middle Eastern cuisine. She says the tea is a bit tart. Yes, it's supposed to be sort of like a lemony flavor.
This is the print I just did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to print onto this a new thing. And I'm going to try and match up the corners more or less. There we go. Just by putting my fingers where the corners are, or two of the corners are.
You need an iron.
Well, an iron
doesn't get into the little, like, that's one of the good things about the finger.
Fingers get into all those funny little spaces.
Yeah. So Cherie says, our parents were creative or exotic. Interesting. So many are artists. Of the Cheries, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And Rebecca says, of course, as regards sumac, I've tried it off the plant. Sour in a nice way, like lemon.
Right. Well, and rose hips are sour too.
Yeah. quite.
I used to drink rosehip
pucker-worthy,
tea
right?
quite a lot.
Yeah.
I bought it because I'm talking like going back as early as high school. I would have that and ginseng tea when I was pulling all-nighters, writing essays, or partying too much, or whatever it was.
I believe the partying, not so much the writing essays thing.
Well, that's when I would write my essay, right?
When you were partying?
No.
Oh.
When it was due.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Welcome to ADHD land. Okay. I've got to have gotten a decent burnishing of that. Oh, the positive's going to be so great. So this is the negative print. And I think that's amazing. Quite interesting.
It's like an abstract expressionist piece, except it's botanically derived, but you wouldn't necessarily even know that.
I love the fact that you don't necessarily know how it's
nice ambiguity.
And got some interesting, surprising tonal stuff appearing as well. Here where some of the stems are. Yeah, this is getting exciting. So there's that. Now, I thought it would be fun to do the positive of this one on the positive of the other one. I've got to get those loose things off, though.
Get those loose things off. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'm sort of like you guys are. I'm working away on my own thing and checking in on the chat every so often. And then I hear little disembodied snippets because I realize I've zoned out for a minute and I'm like, what's she talking about?
I'm used to it. No, I'm used to it. I'm sure other people here are doing it too. That's fine. Okay, so we have that beautiful arcing in the stem. And this has the stems here. So I'm going to make the stems the opposite. Yeah, okay. Find the corners of the prints that way, and then find the corners of the plate. And now burnishing this is nice and easy. Give my hand a break by using my nice paper-friendly applicator.
So our resident species expert, Rebecca, says rosehip is lovely. Same family as apple. So makes sense it's edible. I didn't know that, but when I think about it,
it looks kind of like crab apples, really, doesn't
when
it?
You look at a rosehip, there is a marked similarity to an apple shape. So
we should go foraging for some rosehips, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
it's that time of year. I think. Right time of year. Yeah. Okay, I'll burnish. Here's hoping I got a good print. No, the paint was too dry. Okay. So if you paid close attention to my printing this, you will have noticed or can recall now that I neglected to add golden open medium to this regular paint. And that's why we do it, because see how little of the beautiful image made an impression. So I'm going to have to do this differently. I'm going to have to do this as what's called a pickup print. And I think I might do something a little bit surprising.
Just for a change?
Just for fun.
You're always doing surprising things.
Am I?
You are.
You should know.
I do. Have you ever wondered why my eyebrows are up at my hairline? I'm constantly surprised by what you're getting up to. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good then. go. Let's get some of that there. That tube's getting low, so I had to use my fingers to get it out. So I'm going to blend two, a white and a near white, and a tinted blue violet to make my pickup print. Just wipe my palette knives. That one's a bit past wiping, I guess. Okay. Close up my paint. Now, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I try not to. No guarantees. I'm going to put some of this, just a couple of drops. It's wonderful how little of it you actually need. And I'm going to clean off my brayer a little bit because it has some plant material stuck to it as well as the previous paint. So I'll just get some of that off. Don't really want to be brayering with dimensional material stuck to it. It won't be perfect, and that's fine. All right, I'll start with the white. A little extra brayering is required to mix the open medium in with the paint. And now I'll move into the light blue violet. One of the things you have to remember with gel plate prints is what you see here is not what's printing. It's what you see on the other side that prints. So, so let's see what's going to print. I'll just get my regular paper for this and see what happens. I'm doing a pickup print. You do need to make sure that you're brayering it well. I may have not thinned out the application of the pickup layer. That the last layer I put down is the pickup layer. It may need to be thinner than that was, but we'll find out. Oh, it's out of focus again. How did that happen? Sorry, everybody. I honestly have no idea why it wants to be out of focus so much. Oh, it's so rich. Oh my God, it's rich. Look at that.
Oh, it looks anatomical.
It's beautiful. So this is that thing, complex color. How, look at here the red oxide has mixed with, or here is mixed with some of the, I don't know, black from earlier, but there the red oxide is bright. It's looking on my screen that it's looking redder than in real life. In real life, it's a little bit more rust colored. Yeah, but it is a red. It's brick red, like. So really rich surfaces are possible with this kind of printing without needing, hundreds of hours of
And
expertise.
Blues are great up there. Like they're so unexpected.
And look at that crazy set of shapes, eh?
Yeah.
So.
Cherie says complex complementary colors.
You noticed.
the triple C trifecta.
Mm-hmm. So where are my baby wipes? Spray a little water on this to make it even easier to wipe off. There we go. I'm still thinking about this print that didn't get much. I'd still like it. Still like to give it a go. So I will apply some more of this red oxide and give it another go. This time I'm going to be clever though, and I'm going to put some open medium.
Give yourself a little more time for things to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a couple of drops will make all the difference in the world. Poor brayer is covered in stuff now. Well, let's give it a wipe. There we go. I'm swirling it to aid in blending, mixing the medium in with the paint. Okay. I have too much paint on there at the moment, and I have a few bits and pieces of plants on there too. Because that's what happens when you're working with plants. Part of the beauty. So I will myself another good piece of paper. Ooh, what am I doing? Honestly, not thinking very well there, am I? All right, what is it that I did? Where's the new print that I made? I want to see what I did arrangement-wise. Oh, yes, okay. So one came down from there. And the other came up from here. Okay. It's always encouraging when I look up at the screen and see that everything isn't a big soft blur.
You can focus just for a change.
Yeah. Oh, how's everybody else doing?
How are your projects going along? Or
Is your homework going well? Did your framing go well, Sherry? I must say, I always find gel print making sessions therapeutic. Part of it is it's so tactile, right? You know, here I am rubbing things with my hands, and the plate itself is so tactile. Now there's a nice set of shapes. I'm going to have fun with that, layering onto that. Now I'll take these off. And here.
Oh dear. Rebecca's not getting anywhere on homework, so now I'm folding laundry.
Oh dear.
And
just going to take away some of the areas of paint in the negatives. Not all of them. This is quite interesting, I think. But some of the less interesting.
got a little, looks like a little freeze going on right now. I hope.
Oh dear.
I hope we're not frozen. But
yeah, it's all fine on my screen, of course. Do let us know, however you're able to, if it's frozen for you.
Oh, good. So they say no freezing there. So Rebecca says, not now. I've had a couple of freezes earlier. Okay. So it might just be me.
Might just be a Wi-Fi thing.
Yep.
You know.
Nope. Fraser says no. So thank you guys.
Yay,
it's so great
thanks.
that we can get the real-time feedback. So
it's very, very helpful. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. Here's hoping. Got blurry again. Dang nabbit.
It looks like it's sort of almost back to.
So mid-range, it's fine. That seems better, right?
Yep.
Good.
All right. And I'm back too. I refreshed. Everything's good.
Good. Yeah. That's the key. If it freezes and doesn't come back soon, then just refresh your feed and
with any luck, everything's great.
All right. Here's hoping. I feel like there should be burlesque music playing or something for the big reveal.
It's looking great.
All right. There.
Wow. Delicious. It's great because I can make out little snippets of natural materials like the branching patterns and the flowers and so on. But really what I'm really noticing is the overall shapes and the rich textures that feel like stone. And yeah, wow.
Now this worked out quite well. The curl of the black met up with a tendril of the red. And that is serendipitous. I find a lot of things like that happen when I'm doing stuff, actually. It's quite interesting. And this has a stone lithography feeling to me in the outsides there. So that's quite interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to have a sip of something to drink.
And you've got 10 minutes left. So
10 minutes. Well, that's good. I'm sort of liking this limited palette I've been working with. I'm thinking about layering some new things onto this when I clean off my plate. You could totally work with this residue to create distressed effects, but I just, because I'm layering onto existing layers, I want to have a cleaner, more controlled effect.
and that's another thing that's great, right? You can decide, oh, okay, actually what I want to do next needs it to be clean, so I'll clean it. Or you can say, oh, I'm going to use that little bit of residue and start building with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I should put this, close this up so it doesn't dry. Gobs of paint on the palette knife. There we go. Get that closed. All right. I am thinking about, oh boy.
Susan Abbott just joined us.
Hi, Susan.
She says, well, I missed most of this, but here saying hi now.
Well, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. I'm sorry you couldn't be here earlier, but glad you could make it.
Yeah, she says she'll just have to watch the replay, which of course you can do.
Yeah.
So Kim's been doing some gel plate printing with some botanical materials.
Because I had it sitting on my table and I can't bear the thought of clearing it off without having printed with it. Has anyone else been in a similar analogous position with stuff?
Of course. It's like when you look in the fridge and you think, I paid for that. I better cook that tonight. Right?
Okay. Another weed I quite enjoy because the leaves are so interesting. Isn't that a nice shape? So think about this. I'm going to think about it. Just looking at my prints to figure out what. Okay, this needs more layers. So why don't I make this one about that? Where's my light blue violet? Here it is. We're going to get a negative and a positive print out of this light blue violet with some of these lovely leaves and layer them each onto different existing layers.
A woman with a plan.
I've got a plan, man. Watch out.
You can't always say that.
Nope. Earlier I couldn't say that. Of course. Little open medium. It's called open, by the way, because it increases the open time of the acrylics.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with that, think of the time the paint dries as when it closes. And
yeah, even when the paint isn't really dry, it stops being workable.
Yeah, exactly.
It sort of stiffens up and you can't work with it. So sorry, I'm doing that off screen. I realize I'm holding this against my stomach, and my stomach, thankfully, is off screen. So we don't need my stomach on screen. Trust me. Okay, I've got a nice clean brayer now, which is what I needed. Some stomachs are lovely on screen, aren't they? That wouldn't be mine, though.
Yours is a lovely tummy, too.
You don't have to say that.
I do. I don't have to say it. I'm just saying it.
You're just saying it, aren't you?
I'm just saying it.
All right. It's a free country.
Yep, exactly.
All right. I've got a lovely application of my light blue violet now. And, on second thought, you always get great ideas later. I might have mixed it with a bit of white and had a slightly more painterly effect rather than a flat one. But sometimes you have to sort of try a basic idea to arrive at the more developed idea. So that is certainly the case right now.
I always find that when I start out, I think I'm bereft of ideas. And then I work for a little while that feels like I don't know what I'm doing and this is silly. And then there's this magical transformation that starts happening. You start getting ideas and you start making connections and so on. So you really just have to, the hardest thing is starting in faith, I think, that's going to happen.
Yes.
It's
about having faith in process.
Yeah.
Not worrying about, am I going to make a good print? Just saying, what would be a fun way to start? What would be a fun combination?
You don't usually, you can start with an idea, but you can also start without an idea and arrive at great ideas. Start
with a starting point.
Yeah.
And a starting point can be far from an idea.
A little spark. It really doesn't need to be much.
Yeah. Like I had one starting point was I picked my 8 by 10 inch plate. I didn't pick my 6 by 6, my 12 by 12, my 5 by 7. So right there, I've got a starting point. I had another starting point, which is I have all this plant material.
Right. That was sort of a necessity thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to let this go to waste.
See, because I'm talking, I almost forgot that I actually want to apply this print to this prepared ground. So I caught myself. Yay. Breaking the habit of a lifetime. There. I think these will make lovely shapes. They'll have very big openings because I've put a lot of leaves down with relatively skinny spaces, but that can be fantastic if you've got stuff underneath you want showing through. Okay, let's make sure that my edges and peel and reveal.
Peel and reveal.
So I didn't register it very well, but
it's pretty great though. I love those jaggy edges. They're great.
Those leaves, their edges are so beautiful, aren't they? So I actually could imagine playing with these same leaves in different arrangements or oriented differently with different colors. My gray-green comes to mind.
What's great about that blue? Can you just hold that under the camera just for 1 second longer? What's great, I think, about that is that the blue, I start looking at it as a shape itself, even though it's a negative from around the leaves. Yes. I actually look at it as its own shape, and I love when things do negative flip-flops like that.
Yeah, I agree.
When we were printing up in when we were on vacation, I guess it was in Haliburton, not at the school, that's all. I grabbed a bunch of oak leaves and did them around the entire perimeter so that they looked like they were creating
that was so great.
a central shape that had oak leaf edges, but it was like, what is that?
That was so effective.
I loved it. I love it when I can make something, take something familiar and make it look unfamiliar.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense. I love that.
It made the coolest shape too. Again, I'm just going to remove some of the paint from the negative spaces. Again, not all of it, but just to open it up more. It'll be more highly porous for what I lay it down on next. Notice I'm not removing the leaves yet. Saving that until I'm good and ready. Okay, so I thought it would be really interesting to put a positive in the light violet. This
is great. Susan, regarding process, there's a quote from Richard Feynman, physicist, that she loves. He said about his notebooks, they aren't evidence of the thinking, they are the thinking.
Exactly.
I think this is true of art. Absolutely.
I hope in a good way. Okay, here's hoping something good comes of this. One of the ways in which gel plate printing supports my studio practice as a whole, so no matter what else I'm working in, is it simplifies and distills to illustrate very strongly and simply the fact that you don't know what you've got till you make it. And it really is great at overcoming being in your head too much, which brings me back to that idea I was saying about, creativity for designers. As designers, you can spend an awful lot of time in your head and being perfectionistic and all those things. And it's not that you shouldn't spend lots of time in your head, and it's not that you shouldn't be persnickety, because clients are investing maybe even millions of dollars in what you're doing, but you need the antidote to that to keep your creativity alive. There it is. So it's lost some of its graphic, super punch for sure, but it's gained these wonderfully see-through vein lines and shapes.
It's fun where the veins cross over from dark to light.
Yeah.
It really, it's so stark and interesting and unexpected.
So if I had a little less paint on the, I might have on this, but that's, nope, mine is unstable. Please wait, stable again.
Val says it has a glow to it.
Yeah. Yeah. That white coming up through.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
I think it really does that, brings a luminous quality to it.
I could see bringing, but you can decide, like some sort of fine black thing. You've got that sort of very strong, dark black shape, but some of the other blacks have been lost. But other things have been gained too, right? That's what I love about this. Is like, oh, I lost that thing that I really liked, but I just gained this other thing that I didn't expect. So there's this lovely dance back and forth.
Well, I'm no printmaking purist. I mix up media all the time, and one of my instincts might be to bring in some black line with, one of my paint pens or something that. Yeah. To pick out some places. I'm thinking, for example, this leaf here got a little, little less defined, where some of the other leaves, they're better defined.
Yeah.
That one in particular. So that might be a good place to bring in some black line.
Yeah, and then you'll have like this interesting conversation between some blacks that are buried and then some blacks that are more available on the top and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Philippa says, I love the translucent look. And Maggie says, love these colors, the mix of these colors.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Philippa and Maggie. Yeah, these colors are they play well together. And they're a little off from everything. The light blue violet next to the red oxide is not to my mind, an obvious choice. And but it works very nicely, I think. I want to put a little. I want to see these with maybe a little bit of gray green and a little bit of yellow ochre.
A little shot of fluorescent orange. Right, Sherry?
So let's take a look at what's been printed today.
Yeah, cool.
Because I see we're a little over time. Yeah, but it's nice to see what's happened. So you saw this happen just moments ago. There's that. So that needs more layers. But
it has some great shapes.
Yeah.
And the way their similarity is an interlocking but very different edges and so on.
I'm thinking a textural loopy line in black or Payne's gray. That's what I'm imagining for this. This one's done, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to do another thing to that. I just love it the way it is.
Susan says, this seems like a color choice you use a lot in your heart work. IIRC. Do you know that?
IIRC?
Yeah. What does we don't know the IIRC?
I may have seen that term before, but I'm afraid I can't call it to mind, Susan. But would love to know what you're referring to. My heart work. Well,
if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. So, yes, IIRC is a lot easier to type.
Yeah, exactly.
In my artwork, I use a lot of black, white, and red is one kind of grouping, and red and blue is the other grouping. When I use red and blue together, it's because of the anatomical convention of representing deoxygenated blood with blue and oxygenated blood with red. And this was one of the first prints I made today. And that still has all kinds of possibilities. And God, the veins are just delicious, aren't they? Rhubarb. There's quite a bit of wild rhubarb in our area, and it's fantastic for veins. And honestly, I feel like I want to grow some in our yard just to print with all the time. So that, who knows what will become of that. And then the very first prints I made. There it is, yeah. It's a very graphic, textile-y feeling. And I'll go close up so you can see the little crosses, little X's in circles.
A little bit of like just a delicious amount of imperfection to the print. It's great.
Yeah. I tend to be a person who embraces imperfections because, to my mind, it's those things out of your control that bring so much. They're the gifts you're given. And then, you know what? This is such a bonanza. I'm going to come in really close. First of all, let's see that gorgeous edge. Isn't that fantastic?
How long did it take you to draw all that, Kim?
Oh boy. Yeah. So, oh, sorry. There we go. It looks so nice and sharp there. So that was the day, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I didn't even get to my new jelly roll pens. I was going to layer up with some white line, but these sessions just go by so quickly, like you said at the Collage Jam last week, right?
Yeah.
So
one of these days when we're well rested, so
yeah,
in the summer or whatever,
yeah,
we should do a marathon.
Do a long one?
Yeah, where we alternate, right?
So right,
okay,
a double.
You go do the chat, and I'll come do some collage, and then
yeah, we could have a break. We could have a little break in the
yeah.
middle,
yeah,
an intermission.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should do that. It'd be fun to play with the format a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, guys,
I hope you enjoyed
it. Coming and hanging out and creative playing with us and chatting with us. It's been a lot of fun hanging out.
And if you enjoyed this at all, please give the video a like. And if you know anyone else who you think would enjoy these, and whether they can only watch them as replays because of their schedule or come live, please let them know, because we offer these for free on YouTube because we want anyone who would enjoy them to be able to access them.
Exactly.
So it's been really fun jelly printing today with you.
Yeah.
And sharing what I'm doing and thinking. Not when I'm thinking.
Val says, thanks. Managed to get 2 collages done. Always a good incentive to have you to see. A good incentive here. See you next week. Sorry, I can't read.
That's all right.
Sherry Daly says, good idea. I'll use my jelly plate on my other homework.
Cool.
Cherie says, great session, inspirational. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Maggie says, this is really great, Kim and Cal. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming, everybody. Yeah. And a special thank you to Maggie. This is her first time attending, at least live, as far as I know. So I really appreciate seeing you here, Maggie.
Yeah.
And
yay.
Yeah, I hope you and your girls, however you do it, I hope you and your girls can have a lot of fun. So art supply store for a jelly plate, unless you do a DIY. You need a brayer. This is a 4-inch soft rubber brayer. And you need some acrylic paint and some paper. And really, that gets you started. But then there's a thousand things you can do with it. So I hope you have fun. And thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah,
so good to see you.
Likewise.
Please give our best to Kirk.
Yep.
And you're back next week with Virtual Collage Jam on Monday.
Same time next week.
And I'll be in the co-pilot chair.
Kal Honey Art YouTube channel. And we'll just have the roles reversed. I'll be on camera and Kim will be manning the chat.
Oh, and just before we go, Cal's got a course he's running called, what's it called? Finishing?
Finish It Fridays. So every Friday of the month of November. It's basically what's called a co-working session, where I will set us up to take a quick look at whatever you're cooking up, and then we'll have a focused 2 hours work on whatever projects you have, creative projects that you have started, but maybe they're stalled. There's real power in working together. So
I forgot to show my face. Sorry.
You've shown your face.
Yeah, I feel like it's wrong for me not to.
Not to wrap up that way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. So, finishing, most of us have a pile of unfinished work. So I thought it was a brilliant idea for for the second half of the term for Cal. And you might see me there.
Yeah.
So, because I got a pile. Anyway, I wanted to make sure that you got that in before we left. So take care, everybody, and see you next Monday. I've clicked end stream twice now. Oh, I know what the problem is. There we go.